Season's greetings, patriots, comrades, and fellow citizens of the Republic of Kenya. I shouldn't even call it a republic because I don't believe that we have reached a stage where we can say that Kenyans in their numbers can claim to be genuine citizens of our country, or at least the regime does not treat us as citizens. When you see hundreds of people abducted and disappeared by a regime that is supposed to protect them, when you see hundreds of people murdered or disappeared by a regime that is supposed to provide them with security, when you see trillions of public money squandered, looted, plundered, and stolen by arrogant, self-important tyrants pretending to be representatives of the people, when you see a parliament that was supposed to be a check on the excesses of the executive become a facilitator of corruption and dictatorship, when you see the so-called opposition that was supposed to bring the government to account and offer alternative leadership fall in bed with tyranny from the executive and the ruling regime under the pretext of quote-unquote national unity, when you see the amount of destruction that this regime has inflicted on the environment, on the people, on everything in the country, when you see that, you have to pause and reflect on what really has been going on for the last 63 years. Kenyans have died struggling to have a free and democratic society. Kenyans have died and have suffered, have been tortured and detained, fighting just to be human beings, to live in dignity like anybody else in the world. But we've reached a stage where a government that was supposed to provide all the services that people need, to provide the security that people need, to provide housing, to provide healthcare, to provide education, to provide an environment where we can thrive, has turned against the people. And the leading person doing this is Ruto, facilitated by Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta and their cronies. Those are the representatives of the system that we must remove. And it is important that we recognize that if they are not removed now and removed completely, so that we can have a free and democratic society, then we cannot have free and fair and credible elections, whether it is now, whether it is 2027, but we cannot have that. Anytime anybody demands that Ruto must form the IEBC, I feel sad, I feel disappointed, because saying that means that you don't understand how the system works. That essentially what you're doing is saying Ruto should pick his cronies and constitute the IEBC in his own image, so that whatever elections are going to take place are going to be coronation exercises. That the delimitation of boundaries that are going to happen according to how Ruto wants it to happen, so that Ruto will turn Kenya into a military dictatorship where his family and cronies and plutocrats like him are going to take the stranglehold and choke Kenya for the next 100 years, one after another. So let no one tell you that, oh, there is something undemocratic or unconstitutional by anyone calling on citizens to turn out in large numbers in the streets and remove Ruto from power. Because that power, to vest power and to remove power from anyone, is in the hands of the people. The people have that power through the Constitution, Article 1, Article 2, Article 10. It gives people power to chart their own destiny. Fear is not a very good thing. In fact, fear incapacitates people to take control of their lives. And that's what Ruto is currently banking on. The media, the very media, is spreading fear. They have hired a horde of people on social media to spread disaffection, to spread confusion, to spread fear, to spread despondency, to spread cynicism. And we must tell them that this is not going to fly, that Kenyans have suffered for too long, too much, to allow fear to control their ability to liberate themselves. That the time is now. We have to demand that Ruto either resigns or we force him out of power. There is no other formula except popular resistance. There is no one who can shoot through 1 million people. It's not going to happen in Kenya. It has never happened in history. 1 million people are impossible to defeat. And that is what we are calling for. We are calling for 1 million Kenyans or more to turn up in large numbers and remove this existential threat to their survival, to their security, to their prosperity, to their ability to govern themselves. And that is William Kipchirchir Ruto. Stop calling him president. Stop calling Raila Odinga a honorable or whatever. Call him a conman. Stop calling Uhuru Kenyatta His Excellency. Call him a conman. Call him a tyrant. Call him a despot. That's what they are. And they and all their representatives should be called out, should be deconstructed,